welcome back to another episode of Tori Rain. I did something weird. I'm really excited. Okay, so on Etsy I got a notification in the recommendation like for you, recommended for you, and it was at a discount. So of course I was like, okay, let's click. So I click it and it's this psychic who will tell you your future husband, and she will describe him and draw him. So I think the main thing she's advertising is that she'll draw him and then she will send you a description, and she'll do it within like 12 to 24 hours. All she needs is your full name and your date of birth. It was half off, so I was like, I'm gonna do it. Okay, so we're first gonna film my reaction, because I only read like two sentences of it on accident, because it said you got a message from the seller. So I opened it and I started reading it, and I realized she was describing my future husband. So I'm going to read the whole thing on camera so you can get my reaction natural as possible, and then when Chris comes home from work I'm going to read it to him and show him the everything. So okay, I have the app open here on my phone. I'm so excited. I'm gonna use this to slightly compare it to Chris, only because that is, as of now, who I assume I'm going to marry within the next couple years, after, you know, school and everything is finished, because we already talked about it, we have plans. Okay. He chooses to think and sometimes even behaves just so differently from everyone else. He may be very cool, independent, and opinionated. He endows with power, energy, and a desire to be completely different from everyone around him. Sorry, I'm guessing English is their second language. He fixes the air around him. He represents the mind and the ability to think. His ideas may be strange or even unique, but once formed, he tends to remain fixed. Intellectual, he possesses great mental poise, and with a minimum of effort, he's able to attract many friends. The point to be stressed is that he can be stubborn and find it difficult to break bad habits and behavior. This specialness about him remains throughout his life. His observation ability is outstanding as well. He is very probing and often very well educated. He is good at putting the pieces of a puzzle together, turns small ideas into a big plan, and encourages teamwork to achieve goals. He makes a great team leader. Sorry, again, this English. He have a good broad and he has a good broadened lifestyle and learns to intensify his human relationships so as to keep them. Otherwise, there is a danger that he will become isolated from others and cut a lonely figure. I'm going to dissect this line by line for you guys. Okay, he chooses to think sometimes or even behave just so differently from everyone else. You know, to compare that to Chris, yeah, I would say he definitely will come to his own conclusions, kind of come up to his own idea, which might intermix both, or could be completely out of left field. So that part, yeah. He may be very cool, independent, and opinionated. Chris is 100% independent. He is very opinionated, but he doesn't say his opinions to everyone, so everyone just thinks he's quiet. But trust me, he's very opinionated about everything. He endows with power, energy, and a desire to be completely different than everyone around him. I don't think Chris tries to be different from everybody. I think sometimes he does, because he enjoys not being part of the crowd, but I wouldn't say he puts in a lot of effort. I think it's just naturally him. He fixes the air around him. I believe that for me. I don't know about other people, but for me, he definitely fixes the air around me, and he's very supportive and helps me tremendously a lot with my mental health and anything that I lean on him a lot. So I agree with that. He represents the mind and the ability to think. Yeah, he definitely thinks outside the box. His ideas may be strange or even unique, but once formed, he tends to remain fixated. And again, I'm properly editing this because English is clearly not this person's first language. She's kind of just reusing what she's already said, but just like changing around the verbiage, I feel like, from the beginning of this. He possesses great mental poise, and with a minimum of effort, he is able to attract many friends. I would say, yeah, he's mentally poised. He's able to hold it together. I would say he's really mentally balanced, for sure. And with a minimum effort, he's able to attract a lot of friends. That's hard for me to answer on, because there's a difference between attracting friends and actually wanting lots of friends. So Chris is, like I said, Chris is extremely independent. He has no like true desire to have lots of friends. Like I've said before in another video, he's just extremely introvert. He doesn't really need that much socialization to like recharge his batteries, essentially. But that's not what she's saying. She's saying he has the ability to attract a lot of friends. And you know, maybe that part is true. I have teased with him that I have very close friends that are desperate to get to know him. Like, it's been 6 years, 6.5 years, and they know him, but they want to know more about him. Like, they actually want to find something in common with him to do with him, but they can't even find anything in common because he just doesn't talk. So depending on how you want to look at it, yeah, maybe he does attract a lot of friends, but he just is like, like, I don't need friends. The point to be stressed is that he can be stubborn and find it difficult to break bad habits and behavior. Chris is stubborn. He's definitely not more stubborn than me, but he is stubborn when it comes to certain things, and he can have the potential to like be a wall, and when it's something he believes strongly in, and it's usually in those situations I can say, yeah, he's right. He's in the right. A disagreement that him and I are having, or a TV show we're watching and their opinion is different to his. In those cases where I feel like he puts up a wall and he's like, nope, I'm not budging on this, usually he's in the right, which I don't like to admit, especially if it's between him and I. So in that sense, yes, he can be stubborn, which I don't think it's anything unhealthy or to be worried about. Difficult to break old habits. The bad behavior things, I think it's a toss-up. I don't fully agree with it, because when we first got together, there were things that very much were different in his culture and my culture that I needed on a regular basis. Like, I've heard it plenty of times before in the Japanese culture. They don't really say I love you all the time. That's just kind of how they are. And he said something, he's all, don't you feel like if you say it too much it loses its meaning? And for me, I was like, no, what, are you insane? And then I follow other Japanese YouTubers and I've heard them say that exact same thing. So I'm wondering if it's more of a culture thing, because even with his mother, neither of them really exchange very like I love yous. I will literally hug my family members that have come, that I just saw maybe 2 weeks ago and now they're leaving. Like, I hug them goodbye and tell them I love them and all that stuff. So for those kind of things, I made it very clear, like, that is not normal for me, and to me it's like really unhealthy for my mental health. So I need the I love yous. You don't need to tell me 10 times a day, but I'm a strong believer, don't leave in the morning without a kiss goodbye and saying I love you, because anything can happen during that day. So those were behaviors that, you know, took a minute, but you know, he fixed it. There are some other things that I can't get him to break. So I say I'd feel like mixed yes and no about that sentence. The specialness about him remains throughout his life. Well, we're still pretty young, so we'll hold on to that one. I don't know. Well, we'll see in 20 years. I would like to think all the things I find special about him and now I will still find special about him in 20 years. So fingers crossed. His observation ability is outstanding as well. 100%. He may not talk, but if you're talking, he knows everything you said. And even if you're not talking to him and he's in the room and you're talking to me, he's heard everything you said. He holds on, grasps, and he just knows. So he's an excellent observer. He will take your secrets to the grave because he has nobody to tell them to, and he doesn't care to tell them to. But he absolutely can come to his own conclusions and very like deep critical thinking about someone's behavior or the way they're interacting with something based on what they've been talking about, like that he's overheard. He's very probing and often very well educated. I don't know what they mean by probing, like probing information out of people, maybe. I mean, that sounds like a little bit manipulative, and so I don't know how to answer that one. And then he's often very well educated. Yeah, he's extremely educated on the things he knows about, like, because he puts in the effort to educate himself and learn and do research and stuff, but he's not like extremely educated overall and knows like 100 million different things. But if he needs to know something, learn something about something, that was weird, learn something about something, he puts in the mass amount of time and effort he has to learn about that, whether it's for his work or for something I need, or something with the car. So that sentence is a little vague. He is good at putting the pieces of a puzzle together, turns small ideas into big plans, and encourages teamwork to achieve goals. So if you want to put it in a literal sense, putting puzzle pieces together, yeah, absolutely. He builds all my furniture, he puts cars together, he fixes my car. On a literal sense. If you want to talk about on like a metaphorical sense, I don't know. He hasn't had to put me back together, but he's definitely been extremely stable foundation for me to fix myself, and he's assisted. But I'm also an independent person, and I don't believe in fully relying on someone else to put you back together. I think you have to do the work by yourself with assistance. So if you want to get on a metaphorical sense, I don't know. I haven't used him in that sense, so I don't know. Turning small ideas into big plans. I mean, he plans all of our vacations. If you want to talk about like a literal sense, he doesn't let me plan, because I'm very much like the one time I planned a vacation, I wanted to drive to Arizona to get my tattoo finished, and I said I would plan it, because he was getting stressed out about himself having to plan it, and I was like, no, this is my trip, I'll plan it. And inside I could see it in his face. He's like, you're going to plan this trip? You don't even know how many times you need to stop for gas. And in my mind, I'm like, why do I need to know how many times I'm going to stop for gas? If there's money in the account for gas, it's good. And for him, like, that's not enough. And so I just let him plan. It's the greatest thing ever. Get you a man who plans your vacations. I just pack. My job is to pack. He encourages teamwork. I don't know. I don't work with him. I mean, like, we work together on things and we talk things out. Even though Bella is my dog, like, we come to decisions together. So I guess he encourages teamwork, but that would be more of a work question, and I don't know. He makes a great team leader. I can agree with that. I let him lead with quite a bit in our relationship, and then the other parts I lead. Like, where he's stronger suited, he leads. Where I'm stronger suited, I lead. And I want it that way. I don't want to always be in control of everything. It's effing exhausting, okay? Like, I'm not even coming at it like a feministic view. I just don't want to be in control of everything. That's just my personality. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I don't want to always make every decision. So yeah, I put a lot on him. Like, what do you want to do? That's what you want to do? That's fine with me. And when I feel strongly about something, or I feel like I'm more equipped for something, then I take the lead, and he sits back. He's like, you take the lead. So yeah, I think he's a great leader. I think I'm a great leader too. He has a good, broadened lifestyle and has learned to intensify his human relationships so as to keep them, comma, otherwise there's a danger that he will become isolated from others and cut a lonely figure. I would say he does have a good, broadened lifestyle. I mean, he was born in Japan. He spent a few years in Orange County as a toddler, then went back to Japan, grew up in Japan, did a year of high school in America High School, did the rest in Japan, and he was at his main high school for like high school is 3 years, so 1 year at his main high school, a few months actually, from what I remember. Then he did the rest in America High School. He then went back to his high school, and when he went back, he did 1 year on the mainland for high school that was like predominantly about cars and stuff. And then he came back to Okinawa to finish out his year. And then he did his college here in the States, lived in the South with his dad for a couple years, and then moved here. So and when every time he was like visiting his dad, he was always in another state. So I would say he has a very broadened lifestyle. Learning to intensify his human relationship as to keep them. No, I don't agree with that at all. The only people I see him continue today are his few friends that he made as a child online in Japan. They played a lot of online video games. These are the same people we went to go visit when we went to Tokyo, because they're all from the Tokyo area. So today he puts in the effort to still talk to them and hang out with them, be their friend, but it's mostly game related. Other than that, I don't really agree with the statement that he puts in a lot of effort to keep his human relationships. And then especially whereas there is danger that he will become isolated from others. He likes being isolated from others. So I don't agree with that. And then I don't really understand what it says, and cut a lonely figure. Like maybe he will be a lonely figure. I don't know what cut a lonely figure is, but he likes it. So, okay, so now we're gonna look at the photo. I'll put it on the screen. So she drew him and it's loading. So okay. I'm going to put it on the screen separately for you. Okay, so these are the things that I'm going to choose to point out. Obviously the thick fluffy hair. Chris has thick fluffy hair, and the big bushy eyebrows, and the thinner upper lip compared to the bottom lip that's thicker. That's like Chris. Obviously the beard, but that's kind of generic. The nose. Chris has this big nose. I don't want to be mean, but he's got a big nose with a big arch on the bridge of the nose. I obviously can't see the arch from a straight point of view, but that's a pretty big nose. I don't think it looks exactly like him, but I think this is big enough to be like, it could be him. You let me know down in the comment section below if you think this could pass at him. Maybe I'll even put a picture of Chris up on the screen that maybe is closely resembled to this. If you are interested in doing something like this, I will link her Etsy account below. The page is called The Psychic Art. This was I Will Draw Your Future Husband Within 12 Hours, and it's still half off, so you can get it for $11.99. Says the sale ends in 7 hours, but when I bought this a few days ago, it also said the sale ends in 7 hours. So maybe it's just like a reoccurring thing. But if it is regular price by the time I get this video up, I apologize. It's $23.98. It's still not bad if you want to have some fun. She has a lot of 4-star and 5 stars. And people obviously are admitting like, oh, it was fun, you know, because you won't know and technically until you actually get married. I'll describe your future significant other's strong and weak points, if he's intelligent, smart, calm, etc. His career and character traits. She didn't put anything about his career. I would have liked to hear that he works with his hands, but she did say he puts pieces of a puzzle together, so that maybe. But yeah, I would have liked to been like, he's gonna work with cars. I've been like, oh shit. So I'll go ahead and, you know, I'll film Chris's reaction. I'm gonna read it to him and I'm going to show him the picture and I'm gonna see what he thinks. So I will be back later. Okay everyone, Chris is home from work and he's super excited to be sitting next to me while I do this. Okay, so I went on, stop trying to cheat. He's trying to look at my phone, it's right here. Okay, so I went on Etsy and I got this recommendation for this psychic who will guess your future husband. So she will draw him and then describe him. So I bought it.
How much?
It was half off.
I don't care how much.
It was $11. He hates it when I spend money. Okay, so I'm gonna first describe what she says my future husband is gonna be. And then I'll show you the picture she drew. Okay, and then obviously I'm comparing it to you, okay? Okay, so.
He chooses to think and sometimes even behave differently from everyone else. He may be very cool, independent, and opinionated. He endows with power, energy, and a desire to be completely different than everyone around him. He fixes the air around him. He represents the mind and the ability to think. His ideas may be strange or even unique, but once formed, he tends to remain fixated. He's intellectual and possesses great mental poise, and with a minimum of effort, he's able to attract many friends. The point to be stressed is that he can be stubborn and find it difficult to break bad habits and behaviors. This specialness about him remains throughout his life. His observation ability is outstanding as well. He is very probing and often very well educated. He's good at putting the pieces of a puzzle together, turns small ideas into big plans, and encourages teamwork to achieve goals. He makes a great team leader. He has a good broadened lifestyle and has learned to intensify human relationships so as to keep them. Otherwise, there's a danger that he will become isolated from others and cut a lonely figure.
So, do you think there's any parts of here that describe you?
Maybe.
Maybe?
Maybe not. Why? Does it?
I think parts of it do, yeah. So I went through and I like deciphered every sentence to everybody. But here is the parts that I think are like you. He chooses to think and sometimes behave differently from everyone else. He is really cool. He's very cool, independent, and opinionated. I think very much some of your opinions are different than other people's. You think differently.
Doesn't that mean I'm independent?
Yeah, which is what it says right here. Independent and opinionated. I think you're extremely independent and very opinionated. So I think that part's true. Then it says you endow the power, energy, and desire to be completely different from everyone around him. I think you do like to be different from everybody else.
But yes. Like
Okay.
everybody though. Well, I don't know. A lot of people like same stuff.
Yeah. He fixes the air around him. I would say that's more of like my opinion. Because I don't know if you realize how much you do to help me mentally and everything. So that part I think is true. And then he represents the mind and the ability to think, which again, I think is just repetitive. You think differently, you're independent. His ideas might be strange or even unique. Again, a little bit repetitive. It says he possesses great mental poise, which in layman's terms, that pretty much means like you're calm, clear-headed.
Yeah.
Okay. So
If they push me too far, then I won't be calm.
yeah, and that's totally like a different situation. But like,
It takes really,
it takes a lot.
yeah, a lot.
I don't think I've ever seen you. Out of the 6.5 years we've been together, I've never seen you hit that point. But this is like just a broad, like you're pretty calm altogether. The only part is like, with minimum effort, you're able to attract many friends. I know you don't like having many friends, but I don't know if that means like you don't attract friends, even though you don't really care to be friends. Like, do you feel like there's a lot of people who want to be your friend?
My opinion? Nope.
Okay. That's one thing I wasn't entirely like sure. He can be stubborn and difficult to break bad habits and behavior. I think you're totally stubborn. And
Some
that's-
part.
I
Not
think
like you.
who's more stubborn, you or me?
You're more. I'm less.
Yeah.
But if there's stuff that I know that I'm right, I'll just
I know. That's so
Never
funny. I literally
answer.
said that. I was like, Chris
I
is.
won't change the answer.
Oh my god, I can't wait to show you the whole edit of this video. I literally said, like, there are things like when you put up a wall and that's it. Like, that's your opinion, that's it, and that you're not gonna, like, change your mind. I said, and usually when you act like that, it's usually because you're right. And I said, I don't even like to admit when you're right. But that's so funny that you bring that up. But see? I know him. The specialness about him remains throughout his life. I don't know. We have to wait 10 more years to see if you're still special.
Special of what?
Just a specialness. Just as whatever. I'm guessing that means whatever I find special about you. Okay. His observation ability is outstanding. In 100%. You observe everything because you don't talk to people, you listen and you
Or
observe.
is that observe? Or just
When you're listening and watching, that's observing. And you retain all that information. So 100%. Your observation skills are outstanding. Okay. He's very probing and often very well educated. I don't know what she meant by probing. So I just kind of like skip that. You're often very well educated. I said that like, I felt that when you need to know about something or learn about something, whether it's for your hobby or like your job, you do your best to do a bunch of research and be educated on that specific situation.
when I get really interested.
Yeah. So I'd say you're educated in the things you want to know about. Okay, and he is very good at putting the pieces of a puzzle together. And I don't think she means a literal puzzle.
I know what she's trying to say.
Do you agree?
Well, I'll try to make something of sense, make a sense.
Yeah.
So if that's a puzzle, then.
I did tease and say you're really good at putting furniture together.
Oh, that's different.
I know. I know. And then turns small ideas into a big plan and encourages teamwork to achieve a goal.
Teamwork?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like teams.
I had 2 answers.
I don't like teams.
You don't like teams? You don't like working with people? Okay. And that's in your work life, right? Or regular life?
What do you mean work life? Work
life as in like the way you approach work. You don't want to work in teams. You want to work alone at your job.
Yeah.
Okay. But when it's like us in our relationship, do you work alone or do we work together?
We work together.
Like when we travel and stuff, you put them all together.
Because I have to.
You have to. It says you have a good broadened lifestyle, which, yeah, I mean, you moved around and you've lived in lots of other places.
West Coast.
Yeah.
East Coast.
Yeah.
Japan.
This is the part that I don't agree with. You've learned to intensify your human relationships to keep them. Otherwise, they'd be in danger of losing them, and then you'd become isolated. And it says you'd become isolated from others and cut a lonely figure. I have no idea what she means by cut a lonely figure, but I don't think there's any fear of being isolated.
Brainwash?
What? Isolated.
Isolated?
No, isolated is to be alone.
Oh, isolated? Not completely.
I think you like it.
Like middle of nowhere? Isolated?
No, like just you.
Like in my own place? Like
yeah,
my
your own house. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want anybody calling you. You don't really have it. You have a couple friends that I've talked about who you play games with in Japan, but other than that, you don't call friends to hang out. You don't want them to call you to hang out. You want to come home after work and play games and be left alone. Every day. That's isolated. The only person you talk to is me. And Bella. I encourage you to go make friends, but you've made it clear that you don't want to.
Nope.
So, that's the only part I don't agree with. There's no fear of him being isolated. He likes it. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the picture she drew. And I want you to you have to remember, she didn't go into a shit ton of detail. So, I want you to see if you see yourself a little bit in this photo. And of course, I'm going to put it up on the screen in a separate thing.
So it's the...
Does he look like you?
I don't think so.
I think she's got the hair. She's like got
I don't think so.
The hair here, and then like she's got the thin lip and the bottom lip, and then the big bushy eyebrows.
That's everybody.
No, I don't have big bushy eyebrows.
Oh man.
Not all men have big bushy eyebrows. And then she gave you a big nose. Of course, I said like from straight on you can't see your bridge. But like, she gave you pretty wide nostrils.
That's like a white face. like pure white face.
I think it could be you. It's definitely like not your face, but there are some things in there that could be you. So it's not you?
You don't look like me.
And so, do you have...
I mean, the only thing I can say close is maybe the hair, but...
And the beard? On the lips, like you have a thin upper lip and a thicker bottom one.
No.
No.
The nose is crooked.
Well, you have a very special nose.
No, I'm talking about like the nose, like
yeah,
it's off center.
Maybe he got punched in the face. Maybe you broke his nose.
Maybe.
In the future.
So she only. Did you say what eye color too, or did she just?
No, she just.
She had a pencil.
She just drew it, sent it, and then described him.
The ear's kind of mine too.
Yeah, right. One comes out wider than the other.
One is a little bit bigger, which is pointy.
Yeah.
Than the other one.
which is you. You have, what, your white ear and your Asian ear.
And the small one is my Asian ear.
Yeah. So this is either you, possibly, or this is your competition in the future.
You can have her.
Don't say that! That's so mean! I can't believe you'd say that.
I'm just kidding.
That's it. I'm gonna let him go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I thought this was really fun. It was a weird kind of kooky thing to do with pandemic. You can't do anything else. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you want me to find more things like this, I will be more than happy to do so. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. Personally, I think some of the characteristics were totally like Chris, and then some of them were like not spot on at all. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. If you like this kind of stuff, you know, give me a thumbs up. If you like the stuff I put on my channel, please subscribe. I'd love to see more of you around here. So yeah, that is it for today. I had so much fun hanging out with you. I had so much fun buying this and doing this. So crazy. But yes, I will see you guys later. Love you all. Bye.